Okay. I hope I can get this all done with one take. But that whole thing with that whole Tech Geek and Adobe PC working together thing, what I really meant was that it, there was if you remember that reply from droadtrip where he said, um, that reply from droadtrip where I think it was called to this size this plus special guest, in which he said word for word, I think somewhere close to, all I see in your video is nothing but hate, 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 and which is something that Samuel the Tech Geek said to me within Skype that was actually streamed. And I don't know, it's a little bizarre that D Road Trip said that. And I don't know what. And of course, that's also the same video where he brought up Vegas Undergrounds. But anyways, of course, this whole thing started actually from the comments, and I sent out, and like I said in my for Adobe PC video, I said I made the mistake of replying to that comment, and I did say in my comments that I felt like he was starting a fight, and of course he said he wasn't. And in his second comment, he basically wanted me to admit that my videos suck. And of course, what's funny about that is that I've said in previous videos that my videos did in fact suck. And I even said in my Adobe PC video that my videos suck. I mean, what else was there more to say other than just me slipping my wrist and bleeding all over the webcam and just having a family member just in tears upload the video? I mean, seriously. Um, but anyways, after I made that video, then I ended up getting a shitload of comments from a bunch of other people, mainly uh, other friends of both D Road Trip and I guess Adobe PC, and of course Bobby Gray was in those conversations, in those comments. And what happened was, it was just one after another after another. Of course, D Road Trip wasn't in those comments, but then Dark Caboose made a video, and a reply video, which title I can't remember, and don't bother looking for it because the reply video was taken down, and there's a reason for that. Well, anyways, this was before me and Darth Caboose started talking to each other, and we both traded apologies with each other and all. So, anyways, and of course, in that comment, D Road Trip suddenly left the comment basically saying, egging on Darth Caboose to continue owning both me and Bobby Gray. Okay. It was a little bit of disconcerting for me that Deep Shark Jones kept egging him on like that, so I made a reply video to Darth Caboose, and at the end, I just threw out D Road Trip's name over that little fucking comment that he left me, and it was a bullshit comment. So, anyways, then after I made that video reply, Darth Caboose got in contact with me, and of course, then we took down our reply videos, but D Road Trip put up his reply video anyways, and in there, that's where he mentioned Vegas Underground's name, which I ended up later using in a sarcastic way, which I totally admit to Vegas Underground that I am sorry for that. And of course, that's also when he left that little weird saying in the video where he said, all your videos are just full of hate, 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 hate. And of course, not knowing that me and Darth Caboose were no longer parting with no longer really fighting with each other, but didn't really see eye to eye on everything quite yet. Well, actually, I took the video down and I haven't talked to them on Skype yet at that time. So, anyways, I made a reply to D Road Trip's video, and in the video, that's when I sarcastically spouted out Vegas Underground, and I did that because he just threw out Vegas Underground's name in there for some reason. I guess he was mentioning that the past little run-in he had with Vegas Underground or whatever. And I didn't really talk about when he left that Samuel the Tech Geek comment in there, which is kind of weird that he did that. And anyway, it was in the back of my head, by the way. But anyways, in the reply, then I said, and of course, in Adobe PC's reply, he said I kept replying, I kept looking at past comments from him. Well, I just said, look, this was the last time I talked to Adobe PC, and I flipped all the way back. And I guess I mean, it was for the asshole. It was because I put up that video, I guess, read the asshole returns or whatever. And okay, so I did that. I made that video, whatever, and he left those comments. And of course, then after I made my reply to droadtrip, I made my final reply on this whole Adobe PC thing. And at that time, I started getting in contact with Darth Caboose, David R. Kelly, and who else? Oh, Scopeland, and Wells Bobby Gray. Well, actually, I got in contact with Bobby Gray before Scopeland, and that's when we found out that Bobby Gray received death threats from a couple of Adobe PC fans, as well as from Scope, as well as that Adobe PC was rearranging what certain people were saying here and there, and basically starting one fight after another, I guess. And so I pretty much just left all that alone. And then all of a sudden, Darth Caboose put up a video because he noticed a reply to Scopeland in which had something to do with screwdrivers, where Scopeland said little to no screwdrivers, and Adobe's PC was like, well, why now Scopeland's here saying that Macs don't need screwdrivers, when he said little to no screwdriver. Either it was an error or just one hell of a fuck up, or he basically was rearranging. But he also said, and then came the reply to Darth Caboose, in which he said he never started fights. That kind of got on my side because on my for Adobe PC he did start a fight on my comments and with the two PMs, and so I commented on. I made a video saying, "Well, you did start a fight with me. What's the deal here?" And after that, then came droadtrip's reply to me, and on there, that's where he brought up that I protected his family. Which I protected his family from Skolas, a little brat who thought he could play with big boys. And I did. I did do that in the videos, like way back there. I went on to this one website where you can make these little cartoon animations. I forget what it was called, but anyway, so I made that video and defended droadtrip all those many years ago, and of course droadtrip brought it back and then pleaded with me and Dark Caboose to basically just leave Adobe PC alone and just agree to disagree, or basically just get on the bandwagon and start owning Scopeland. First of all, I didn't see any reason why to own Scopeland. He had some pretty reasonable when I talked to him on Skype, he had some pretty reasonable arguments, and so it wasn't really into my business. But when Adobe said he never started a fight, it was bullshit. So I called him out on it, and then that's when Adobe VC left that comment on me. And the comment was just full of so many fallacies. First of all, I didn't concentrate on those past things like he said I did. I did look at him twice, or actually I may have looked at him 3 times, but on 3 different videos. But it wasn't just that one comment. I forgot to mention in those two in those next videos that there were those PMs that went along with it, which Adobe PC just wanted me to openly admit my video sucked, which I already did in the Adobe PC video. It's right there. They suck. I mean, either I'm breathing in or saying a lot of things. So I did. And of course, he said that he couldn't find my video, which is bullshit because that comment was made 1 month ago, and the video that he was saying that he was replying to was from 2 months ago, and it really wasn't that far down. And all you had to do was just hit the upload button, and this is back before all the other videos showed up, which is now it's way further down there. But all you do is hit the upload button, and it will show up right there in a row of 7. So it was pretty easy to find. It's not that difficult, and it says right there blacklisting. Just type it under the my name, and there was the video. Easy pickings. He still hasn't given me a good reason to why he couldn't put it on there, and then he said, "Well, I'm gonna give you a roll of 3, of course." And like I said, upload button. It's not that hard to click on your mouse and just click the upload button that's above my name. It's that fucking easy. So, yeah, he still hasn't given me a good reason. Of course, he's commented on every one of my videos where I at least barely mentioned him or just mentioned him. Him saying he makes his retaliation videos. The man just doesn't like to be talked about in any kind of content whatsoever at all. And then that's when he made that, this is batshit crazy and a sub whore. And basically, he just copied a video that Thunderfoot made about Coughlin 666, and Thunderfoot said the exact same thing. And I got nothing against Thunderfoot or Coughlin, but he just copied that video, and I guess he used that as his reference to somehow make a video almost like that, but putting me as the sub horror crazy person. It didn't make any fucking sense, basically. And as far as I'm concerned, that video is full of so many fallacies. And of course, yeah, that's when droadtrip made his reply video, basically begging. It was a reply video to me, Darth Caboose, and to Adobe PC. And he basically wanted me and Darth Caboose to leave Adobe PC alone. And I was done with Adobe PC after that video reply, because no more. And that's when I started making my video replies to the road trip, asking him what the fuck was going on. And that's where we are now. Why did he feel the need to go out and protect Adobe PC when clearly Adobe PC lied? And then he brought up that thing that I did to protect him and his family from some nut job little brat who said bullshit about droadtrip. And of course he was bringing up bullshit after bullshit about droadtrip that just wasn't true. And this was a little kid here, and I don't want to get into that. But I did protect him all that long ago, and of course droadtrip brought all that back. And it's still a little weird that he did that. Of course, the way he was acting in that video was even more bizarre. But like I stated, when I stated that, like Adobe Piece, like how Emic would re-edit what Zool would say and make it sound like Emic was the poor used kid, was being the poor used one, and Zool was putting all these hate messages to. I knew from the start that what Emic was doing, and I never really wanted to go against Zool, but he was re-editing what Zool said. He was re-editing videos of what Zool said and all this other stuff. And this is what Adobe PC does to Scopeland, and he definitely did to me. And he definitely re-edited things I said. And not only that, if I'm such a sub whore, I've had under 100 subs for a long ass time, and I've never come up and made a video asking and begging for more subs. I don't even have any, or supposed any kind of sub bots going on. I'm under 100 fucking subs here. It's that fucking up. And I've had under 100 subs for a long ass time, and I've never really given a shit. It's just how it goes. I just am not that much of an interesting person. And I've accepted that a long time ago and just made my video for the fun of it. So, yeah, the things that Adobe CTC said was bullshit about me, and he lied about me, and of course, he came up with a lot of fallacies about me. Of course, I'm the subhort, I'm the crazy person. Of course, I'm not the first. And of course, I've still asked Adobe PC, where's that initial message that said I started the argument? Of course, he never produced it. And, and I said it'd be a miracle if he ever did. And he hasn't. Of course, if he had, that would be even much more of a miracle because, yeah, bringing up shit I never said. But he never did that, thankfully. So, yeah, his video's full of fallacies, and it's pretty much proof. And he re-edits other people's videos to make it sound like, he's the one who's in the right, and everyone else is all in the fucking wrong. So, and yeah, and when I said that Adobe PC is, in fact, the next Emix 77, and that Adobe PC did everything, and that everything that droadtrip did to move away from Emix, because in a way, droadtrip is still sore that he never got a shout-out video. And this all started back when droadtrip, when I protected droadtrip and his family from that one little dumbass kid. But anyways, and yeah, I did talk to droadtrip after that video, and he still kept mentioning Emix in that whole never getting a shout out video. And yeah, I think droadtrip's still a bit sore about it, even though he said that he's gotten over it. But anyways, I'm trying to make this as short as I can, but it obviously isn't. But anyways, there was just something wrong here. And of course, bringing up Vegas Underground's name, but I didn't think anything of that. And of course, bringing up that weird comment that Samuel the Tech Geek brought up me in a Skype call was a bit bizarre. But I honestly think with droadtrip protecting Adobe PC, I think honestly that droadtrip has done everything he can to try to further him away from Emix, aka Apple Soldier, and only to wind up with the exact opposite, or if anything, another version of Emix, aka Apple Soldier, which is now Adobe PC. I mean, you just got to look at it. He lied, he re-edits, and I'm not going to reply to Adobe PC anymore. I mean, most of my replies have been directed at droadtrip, and that was it. So, and because, and yeah, think about that, droadtrip. I think you have surrounded yourself with another version of Emix 77 and a group of his little unrelenting fucking troll fanboys. And of course, what I mean is Adobe PC and all of his little Adobe PC followers. No one messes with the great and almighty Adobe PC. It's pretty much what I have unfortunately learned. Which Zul said he was unfortunately had to learn about Emix 77, aka Apple Soldier.